Super Plus.
Greetings and welcome to the Hills of Steel 2 Tank Breakdown. I'm Andrew and I will be guiding you through the series as we take a look at the various tanks of the game. If you missed our first video on Joker, check it out in the link in the description below. But for now, let's check out our next tank of the series, Arachno. Arachno is a spider type tank as it uses legs to walk on rather than the tracks of a traditional tank. This leads for some interesting mechanics which you will see later in the video. There are various available skins available for Arachno, so why don't we change it up a bit? Let's go with Army Arachno. As with all tanks in the game, Arachno comes with 3 slots for attachments, but since we're playing level 5, we only have access to 2 right now. We need to get more cards if we want to level them any further. So let's take a look at the attachments. There are a lot of the standard ones that you'll find, like crit chance, extra damage, 300 damage to nearby enemies on death, as well as many other. So for our particular one, let's actually go with the crit chance, as well as the damage for whenever we die. The idea behind this is to get as close and personal as we can, do a lot of damage, and then if we go down, deal more damage. As you can see from the stats, Arachno has reasonable health, reasonable special, reasonable speed, but low attack. Let's actually see it in action how that works. Let's start things off by taking a look at Bunker Bash. The objective of this game mode is to take down the enemy's bunkers before they take down yours. Now, while playing Arachno, we have a good matchup here, as we have Buck and Kong to sit on the front line. This game mode is perfect for us as Arachno, as with our normal attacks we're a long range character, but with our ultimate we can get up close and personal. So let's take a look at the attacks. Our regular attack is a handful of poison darts. When we fire off, our little charge bar goes down for each shot that we take. If this hits the enemy, it will do a lot of damage through poison. The other advantage is the range that it has. At its full height, it can reach a large distance. What do I mean by height? Well, when we attack with Arachno, it starts off with the barrel facing down, and the more that we attack, the higher the barrel actually goes up, so the further that we can shoot. Because of this, it means that we can tap to attack in quick bursts shortly, or hold on it to just fire off a quick succession of darts. It's useful in this game mode because if the enemy tanks get close, we can do damage, but at the same time, if we want, we can sit behind a hill, use the dart ability to fire over the top, and do a lot of damage to the bunkers. Next up, let's take a look at the ultimate ability. So like all tanks, once you get a number of hits and kills, you will build up your ultimate ability meter. Once you've done this, and use your ultimate ability on Arachno, you will summon a handful of little spiders that run from underneath you towards the enemy. Upon impact, they will do a lot of damage. As you see here, we press it, and it will run out towards the enemy, do a lot of damage, and then forces them back. This works best over the top of hills, or when you're very close so that they can't see it coming. And of course, when you're close and die, we'll be able to use our death ability to do extra damage. Let's now switch it up to a different game mode. Let's take a look at one of my favourite game modes, Epic Duel, the one-on-one battle arena. This is where Arachno can really shine, because not only do you have the range to attack as they approach, but your ultimate if they get too close. Phoenix is charging right at us, we're able to do a lot of damage with our poison darts, and then as soon as we build up our ultimate ability, we're able to fire them off straight into him, taking the kill. When we get to the second round, the amount of damage that we can do over the hill by the time the Phoenix even gets to us, we have another victory ready. Of course, with us being low in health here, we have to lose a round. But that just means that we've set ourselves up nicely to take the victory overall. Even though we died, we done a lot of damage with our ultimate ability there, which means that when Phoenix comes forward, he's already very low in health, and we're able to use the hails to just shoot some shots over, take the victory. Now before we get into some Rampage, you're probably wondering, but Andrew, So far, Arachnos look great. There must be something that we need to be careful of. And the answer is yes, two things. Firstly, because of the way that Arachno moves, as well as the way that the barrel faces down in the ground, and when you click on the fire shot it builds up, you need to be careful that your positioning is quite right. Because when you're coming down into hills, you're basically aimed into the ground. So you need to ensure that you're positioned correctly to get your shots to fire off over the hill, but not too far away as well. The other issue is movement. For someone that's supposed to be a spider, you would think they'd have no problem with terrain. But unfortunately that's not always the case. So on downward steep hills, you need to be careful that you don't end up on your back and exposed to the enemy. Okay, now let's move over to Rampage where we can see Arachno in 3v3 PvP. So far we have learned, position well so that your shots, as they rise, make it over the hill but not too far, and use your ultimate at the right time. Here's a perfect example of how this can work. Finding yourself in a good position to get your poison darts over the top of the hills, doing a lot of damage, especially against tanks that have little health, it makes it a lot easier. And of course, since we have taken the attachment to do extra damage on death, it means that we can get aggressive as well to do extra damage if need be. If you're looking for the perfect mid-range tank, Arachno might be the answer for you, as you get to sit back, do a lot of damage, but if you want to get aggressive and do a lot of damage, there is that option as well, particularly with the ultimate. In this particular map, this can be the best use of it, as we're able to sit behind the hill, send out our little spiders over the top to detonate and do a lot of damage. With this steep incline as well, we're able to sit back and do a lot of damage up and over. This is great for being able to keep the enemy in their base to help take victory. Of course, it's always important to remember that with different attachments, you can change it to work how you want. So if you want to be even more aggressive, you can add more health so that you can charge into the enemies. If you want extra damage so that you can sit back and do damage from range, that's possible as well. The key thing to practice is just tapping those shots to make sure that you get the angle of the poison darts just right. So to finish things off, let's just take a final look. Practice your shots, making sure that your poison darts are just right. Know when to use your ultimate ability, and learn to get into the right position. As you can see in this particular map, we've managed to get ourselves into a key location. We're able to sit behind a hill, do a lot of damage up and over by tapping the poison darts, and then when we get charged, use our ultimate ability to take down the charging enemy. This concludes our first look and tank breakdown of Arachno. Don't forget that we've already started the series, so if you missed the Joker one, go check that out. We have plenty more to come, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow our social media channels to keep up to date with all the content. Links for those are down below. Also, if you're an Arachno player, let us know in the comments below how you play them, and if you have any hints or tips for beginning players on how to play them best. Keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for the next tank coming in the series. Until then, have fun, and we will see you on the hills.